for their children, not bureaucracy. I fully believe in our founding fathers, the Bill of Rights, and the conservative principles that make this country and our state great. I will fight for pro-life principles, protect our Bill of Rights without waiver. Together, let's keep LD28 the best district in the state. I'm Janet Jackson, and I approve this message.
This is the Valley's News Talk and Podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix, a Central City radio station.
It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show.
The only show about Latinos for Latinos. And did we mention Latinos?
It's the Latísima.
Latinos come in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. You don't have to be Latino to enjoy chips and salsa.
Everybody loves chips and salsa.
Guess what? It's time once again for the Tuesday 4 p.m. edition of the Chips and Salsa Show. Time to get your guac on here. Wow. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge El Alacran.
my partner in radio crime. We have a fantastic show for you. We're going to be introducing the beautiful Hilda Villaverde in just a moment here. She's an author, a business owner. Lots to talk about today. So please stay tuned. Share this with your friends. So we're going to go and do a little bit of housekeeping real quick and take care of this. If you are watching us on Facebook, please share this. You can also upload the Central City Radio app. It's very nice and easy, and it's free of charge. Free. We like things. We're Latinos. We're conservative Republicans. We like free stuff. Yeah, right. We do. So please download the Central City Radio app. And if you miss any part of the show, you can always come back and watch it on the app, or you can come back to Facebook and do that too. And thank you, Chipster. So, do you know what a chipster is, Hilda?
A chipster? Mm-hmm. Somebody who likes chips and salsa?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you follow Chips and Salsa, and you know what? We kind of even included that because some people follow us and they may not necessarily like us, they just follow us for the politics. I'll still call them chipsters because they follow us. Hey, special thank you to Sergio Ariano, because he filled in for us last week, and he came up with a new term. Did you watch the show?
Surge.
Well, he was also saying chipsters and salseros.
Salseros, yeah.
Which I thought that was kind of cool. Salseros, kind of jealous I didn't think of it myself. But, the only thing is that if you're chipsters, it's kind of all-inclusive. Salseros maybe implies you're a guy. So.
Did you notice when he was talking in front of the president, he goes, I'm Sergio Ariano, Surge. And the president goes, Surge!
Yeah.
It's a catchy tune, and he made it up. And
he did. And for those of you who don't know what George is talking about, what happened was just yesterday, President Donald Trump was in town, and I got to go to the Latino Forum. And it was really great. We're going to talk about that, and that's wonderful that we have Hilda. The timing, I can't believe, is impeccable, because I had booked her a while back. And there were some business owners, there were some politicians up there, and they were telling their stories, including Sergio. If you listened last week, he joined the military. He's got a wonderful story, and it was great. There were a lot of people there. It was really nice because it wasn't one of those where you had thousands of people. It's hard to do that today. Mm-hmm. And it was such late notice, but it was at the Arizona Grand. There's probably hundreds of people, right, George? I would think so. Yeah. Unfortunately, George didn't get to go. Dang
it. About 6 or 8 people around the round table with the president, and everybody else was the audience. And the audience was pretty loud. Every time they said something, you hear the big clapping and cheering.
Well, it's so exciting when you're in that venue because the president's right there and people are talking, and you're with people that believe what you believe in your same mindset. And it's just really exciting. The energy is thrilling. If you ever get a chance to go to anything with the president, he is fantastic. He just gives off great vibes, good energy, and he's always up. Like I was talking to Hilda before the show, he always looks like he's just fresh, he's just ready to go and rock and roll. And he had just come from, California? I think he was there with the fires.
Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas, that's right.
He had gone to Las Vegas, Nevada. A couple of, he had the Latino.
I think he went California and Vegas. I'm wrong.
He went to California too, but he had Latinos for Trump forum over there too. The round table.
Oh, okay, you need to get a little closer to your mic, George. There you go. Is that better, Julian? All right. By the way, thank you, Julian Allison, who is behind the glass there. He's the owner and founder of Central City Radio. He takes care of us. He's the magic man on the keyboard. Woohoo! Yeah!
Amen.
And if you'd like to do something like we do, make sure you contact him through Facebook. I want to tell you, next week I want to tease our guest, and I saw him. He was there at the Latino Forum yesterday. But Jerry Sheridan, who is running for sheriff, is going to be our guest next week. So make sure you tune in at that time as well.
Be a great show.
It's going to be a good show. You're going to be with us next week still, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Great. That's going to be wonderful. So I gave Sergio, thank you. Oh, birthdays. We can't forget about birthdays. Okay, so I want to say, you announce your birthdays.
One, it was yesterday, my wife, Dion, it was her birthday. And this Saturday is my son's birthday, Jorge, who's in the Army right now. So,
Sergeant? What is he, a sergeant?
Huh?
He's a sergeant?
He's a staff sergeant.
Staff sergeant. Happy birthday. And then on my family, my brother is going to have a birthday tomorrow. It's the big 7-0, in fact.
Oh.
Yeah.
7-0.
Yeah.
That's a great number. I like it.
Isn't it? And he's also Rafael. He goes by Ralph, though. So happy birthday, Ralph, Dion, and Georgie. Anybody else? You got some birthdays coming up in your family?
Yesterday was my co-author, Mary Beth Stern, was her birthday yesterday.
Oh,
and that was kind of nice.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
There you go, Mary Beth.
Yeah. Oh, and my brother's birthday's today.
Oh, it
my
is?
gosh.
Oh.
Okay, I sent an early birthday card. I forgot to call him today. Oh my gosh, let me get right now and text him. No.
And his name is?
Carlos Villaverde.
Carlos Villaverde. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Carlos. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. And Julian, you had your birthday recently. Did we get to wish you a happy birthday? On the 5th. So belated to you.
Yeah.
So
But
Happy
because
birthday.
Sergio was here, we didn't get to wish you happy birthday last week. Yeah, we weren't here. So happy birthday. And he's still 25, right? 25. Okay, we'll take that. We'll take that 25. Right
And
on.
the Surge, I mentioned the Surge is going to be here in October when I'm doing the elections.
Yes, we're hoping that he's going to be helping me
Yeah.
co-host.
He is so good. I like
Yeah.
Surge and the way he presents the show, and his spontaneousness is great. He thinks off the cuff. Me, it takes me a little while, but I mean, Surge is really good.
And he's got
he's really good.
a lot of political experience, and so it'll be good. I mean, he's talking about October because George is going to go work elections. Which let's give a few of these
Starts the
election
5th, yeah.
deadlines.
My thing starts 27 days prior to the election on November the 3rd. So I start working for the Maricopa County elections. I'm a troubleshooter, so I have 5 sites that I'll be doing. That I go to each site and make sure they're running properly. I'm the guy who cracks the whip.
Right on.
But I don't crack the
I
whip.
thought you said
I'm
you
a nice
cracked
guy.
the whip. I'm like, crap the whip? What about cracking the whip? Okay.
Crack the whip.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because on Thursday we're going to be at the Latinos for Trump Center. That's a regular gig
Yes.
for us now. And we're going to have a special guest there. Our good friend Gina Swoboda is going to be there. And Gina is going to talk about recruiting people to work, kind of the elections, the trouble,
That
observers.
last page that you have
things
there,
like
it's
that.
about recruiting people.
Oh, right on. Yes, this is exactly it. Thank you, George. It's if you go to defendyourballot.com, that's defendyourballot.com, ta-da! You can be a poll observer. And you just enter your information, click enlist, because they're recruiting you, and they need you, okay? We need
Yes.
Republicans out there to watch the polls, because we want this to be as smooth an election as possible. And
And they're pretty good. They're pretty good because I get along with them because they have to report to me when they're at the site, or to the inspector. If I'm there first, then they have to come to me, and then I introduce them to the inspector. They can't talk to any other people there, but they can observe anything they see out of line. They jot it down and they report it to their respective parties. Because you have the Republican, you have the Democrat, you have the Libertarians. They're all there observing, and they can all be there at the same time observing, but they have to just observe. They can't interfere with the elections. So we give them a very comfortable spot to observe, and we answer any question they have, but they can only ask us, me the troubleshooter, or the inspector. They can't address anybody else there. Now the federal observers, on the other hand, are allowed to go anywhere in the polling place, talk to anybody in the polling place, and they have that leadway. They're federal inspectors, they're federal observers with the federal badges, and they're allowed to do almost go anywhere and do anything there within reason. But they're the poll watchers, the Republican, Democrats, they have to just observe.
so the feds have quite a bit of power, don't they? Wow.
The federal observers, yes.
Do that.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't mention, but today, is it today or tomorrow? I think today starts the Hispanic Heritage Month. Mm-hmm. So it's National Hispanic Heritage Month. So it's wonderful that we're going to have Hilda on. Okay, so we're coming up already on our first break. When we come back, do not go anywhere, because you're going to love my friend Hilda Villaverde. Yep. She's an author, she's a business owner, and she's a wonderful personality, and it's going to be so much fun to talk to her. And if you have anything, go on Facebook, get some questions, whatever. We'll try to watch that for you as well. So we'll be right back. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge
and our good friend Hilda Villaverde. We'll be right back with more of the Chips and Salsa Show here on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. Don't go away.
The Valley's home for podcasts, Talk Central Phoenix. Get the app on iTunes or Google Play.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first. Name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rod goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day, making sure they brush their teeth, is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2minute2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Dudes and dudettes need to chill out. Unleash the power of nature with handcrafted hemp extract. Quality you can feel with passion for the planet. Get your herbal relief today at emeraldsunfarms.com.
When you hear the Wayne Allen Root Show.
For once, Reuters done some actual journalism on Hunter Biden. Hunter never actually worked in Ukraine. He worked for Burisma, making $50,000 a month.
Then you are home. The Valley's news talk and podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix.
And now, back to more of the Chips and Salsa Show.
So, which of the Latin countries are you from? The one with the Civil War, the one with the cocaine, or the one with the fancy hats?
And we are back with the Chips and Salsa Show. I am Alice Lara with
Don Jorge.
And we're here every week on Tuesday at 4 p.m. And we're doing a special edition on Thursdays now through the election. So please just tune in. We never quite know what time we're going to be on because we do it from the Latinos for Trump Center. But just we'll try to give you a heads up as to what time that is. But we exist because we're brown, but you know what? We're not Democrats. We're conservative Republicans. So we exist to let you know, yes, there really are a lot of Latino Republicans. And there were yesterday at the Latinos Forum with President Trump, which was so cool. and which is the timing I can't believe. We just get so lucky with this. But we have on my very good friend, Hilda Villaverde. Welcome to the Chips and Salsa Show officially.
Ta-da! I love being here.
Oh, man.
I wish we had some chips and salsa to eat.
I know. We used to do that.
Guacamole.
We got to get back and do that, George. We always talk about it.
When we had the sheriff, he said, you're going to have chips and salsa. We have to have that chips and salsa.
Or, you know what we should do? Maybe we'll just tell the guests, you can be on the show if you bring us chips and salsa. Or whatever your version of it is. Maybe that's what we need to do, huh? Wow.
Good idea.
Well, and one of the reasons that we had her on, she's an author, she's a business owner, and we are going to talk about her books as well. And this is, but I have to brag on her because she just told me during the break. So this is her latest book, Dear Son, Dear Mom, Thoughts I Wanted You to Feel, an uncommon tale of a son and his mother. Together, they are somebody. It's a nice short read, we'll say. I started reading it. It's very powerful. And you said, Hilda, it hit #1 the first day on Amazon.
It did. But we have to tell you, thank you. We cheated just a little bit. We text everybody that we knew. We said, buy it today, and they did. I don't know how. I mean, we have a few hundred
people.
It's still
to do that. That's not
yeah,
easy. That's still an accomplishment.
Thank you. That's just well, my son and I. May I just? Okay.
Yes.
So my son and I decided we wanted to tell the story because this is what I want to say before we get started here.
Go right ahead.
Everyone has a story to tell. I could sit down with every single one of you, here, there, everywhere, and that's what I've been doing for 50 years. I am celebrating my 50th year as a hairdresser, and I have a beauty salon.
She started styling when she was 5 years old.
5 years old.
Yeah.
And so for 25 years, I have owned a hair salon in Scottsdale, Arizona. And for 50 years, I've been a hairstylist. And over the years, I know probably thousands of women and men, and everyone has a story. So about 6 years ago, my co-author and I started writing books on women's stories, and a few men, actually. And the first book was Living Brave, Stories, Women, and Pathways to Thriving. We love that Living Brave. I want to talk about being brave.
I'm going to hold up the book because that's what we do here.
So our latest book is Living Brave, Finishing Strong. This book, Alice and George, is really a powerful book. The women in this book are ages 7 to 95 years old. Wow. And we captured those stories from, we have 50 women in here who told us to say. Now, we did give them 6 questions. Each one of them gets 6 questions to answer. And if I asked you 6 questions, if I asked you those same 6 questions and or Julian out there, if I asked him those questions, every single one of you, in your answers, you're telling me your story. I mean, bottom line is you're giving me your mini story of your life. And that's what we've been doing. But with this little book, my son and I decided to tell the story of what happened to us even before he was born. And I think it's a beautiful story. My son wanted to make sure that he said, Mom, make it small enough, because guys don't want to carry around big books. Mm-hmm. Make it small enough like they can throw it in their gym bag or they can put it in the glove box, and a woman can put it in her purse. And it's a tiny little book. Dear Son, Dear Mom, Thoughts I Wanted You to Feel. And we've had great comments, 5 stars, but that's not why I'm here. So
but I want to tell you, so I started reading it, okay, and I'm going to go home and finish reading it. But it's a really incredible story of this 20-year-old woman and the struggles that she went through and her son. So Hilda writes the letter like she's writing it to her son, and then her son actually writes the response.
Right.
And it's terrific. And I was thinking, I want to suggest this to you women who might be pregnant out there. We think, and maybe it's something you should create, you should journal. And maybe every week write about, your experience being pregnant. And I don't want to, spoiler alert.
No, I think it's a great idea because I happen to remember everything. So because I've been a writer for 25 years, but I would love to recommend for women to sit down. It doesn't take very much. It's a few things. Just write a few things down. It's a journaling, just every week about how you're feeling, your thoughts about this child that you're having, or a child that you've just had, or someday, or even if your child is 21 years old. My son is 48 years old, and here we write our book. And so anyway, wow. Please buy it. You'll love it. We call it a tiny book with a big message.
You will like it. And then my button has special significance for this book, too, about Pray to End Abortion, because it could have been something else, but it wasn't. And here we are, years later. It's really very cool.
Thank you.
Very cool. So, also, besides an author, you have had a business. How long have you had your business for?
25 years. I've had it's a very small studio salon in Scottsdale. I only have 4 chairs, but we run hundreds of women, well, before the pandemic, right? We run hundreds of women through our salon every month. And I carry a large clientele. And of course, through this pandemic, well, you know the beauty shops. You have to wear your mask, and we were closed for a while.
Did Nancy Pelosi call you for?
To Nancy,
did she call you for an appointment?
Well, I'm not doing her hair, but I do want to offer. If anyone knows the owner of the salon in San Francisco, she's had to close her salon because she had death threats and all this. I'd be happy to give her a job in my salon.
Yeah, we wanted to give a shout out to her.
Yeah, if anyone knows her.
She should move to Arizona.
She should move to Arizona and come and work in our salon. We'd love to have her. She looks like a lovely lady. But anyway, anyway, the salon is just a small studio. I've had it 25 years. We're just a small crew, and all we do is hair, and we listen to stories.
And I read another book that she wrote, and it was about a lot of the stories, which was awesome.
Blow Dry This. That book I wrote in 2007, and it's kind of a sneak peek at salon clients and hairdressers. And
don't worry, she didn't put the actual names in there.
Well, some people really wanted their name in there.
Yeah, so a lot of them weren't, though, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, that was a good book. But her writing style is really, it flows very nicely, so it's not difficult, laborious reading.
Well, I want to say something about that.
It's like I feel like you're talking to me when I read.
When we were growing up, I was born and raised in Ajo, Arizona, in a small copper mining town. And I remember that after, when the sun was going down, the women in the neighborhood got together, and we used to go to this lady's backyard, and the women would make the tortillas. They'd roll out the tortillas out there, and we had honey and butter, and we'd and then we had this bed that was out there, and it was just the spring, right? Because they didn't have any cushion to just, and we'd throw
your lawn furniture,
over
Mexican lawn furniture.
That was our Mexican lawn furniture. And the women used to tell stories, and they would sit there, with their dresses, and they were still wearing their aprons, and they would sit and they would kind of bend forward, and us kids, we would sit there and they would tell stories. Did you ever hear about La Llorona?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I was frightened, man.
I saw that movie.
If you ever want to have me back, and I can tell about La Llorona and the stories about growing up in Mexico. And so I think that my writing style, and I'm just getting this thought right now, could be more conversational, because that's the way I heard stories.
That makes sense.
Right? Because I think that's as I look at my books now, I think that I really picked that up from them, the way they told the stories. And I want to make sure, and for those of you who want to write a book, because everyone that meets me says, I want to write a book. I always say to them, make sure that you put on paper the actual picture of what you want that person to see. Because you have it in your mind, but can you actually put it on paper? And it's really important to make sure you put the color, the feeling. Do you know what I'm saying? So for those of you who want to be authors out there, make sure that you really put your picture of what you see into that book, so when that reader picks that book up, they can see it as well.
That's a good tip.
And that is a good point, because there were times when I wanted to delve in writing a book on graffiti, actually. And it was when I was in the college. And one of my professors said that would probably make a really good book. And I've thought about it over the years. I haven't sat down and do it. That's probably my retirement thing.
Were you a graffiti artist?
Graffiti, going over the history of graffiti. Actually, the graffiti that you see now, graffiti that was in the Pyramid Ages, the graffiti that was in the army and the military.
Kind of a history of it.
Yeah, the graffiti in Paris, graffiti all over the world.
That'd be interesting.
And it would make interesting reading, because you would make certain chapters that would take the reader to maybe Europe, or take the reader to the pyramids, or to the Viking ages. and it would be a good book. And so putting my feelings into it would be a great thing. Right. So I'm glad you said that, because it just adds more to when I do become an author.
Okay.
I will do
well,
that.
Get on it there,
George. They want to see the graffiti that you see, the texture, the color, the feeling that it gives you.
And there's different types. You'll see them on the trains in Chicago, right on the side of the trains. Yeah. Even here. I mean, there's so much, and people talking to people. A lot of it's talking to gangs. But when I started working, I had I still have it, the business repairing at gas stations or supplying them. One of the main things is when we change dispensers in their bathroom, we change the dispenser as soon as it's graffitied, because it goes from the dispensers to the wall to the toilet to outside, then to their tanks, and this is where it gets expensive. It goes to their outside of their tanks, and the gangs they saw in the bathroom, so they're graffitiing. They're actually etching it into the tanks, and those are expensive. The glass, the tank itself to change, and we try to catch it at the beginning level, which is in the bathrooms, where they're talking. They sketch into the mirror, and the gang talks to the other one answers them. Then it starts spreading in the bathroom on the dealers that don't have people like me to go in there. It starts spreading, and before you know it, it's in their tanks. Then they take it seriously, but by then it's already etched in their glass of their store. To replace one of those is like $700 to $1,000, just the glass on the store. So it actually spreads into where it starts coming out of your pocket.
So you're on graffiti watch all the time when you go in there.
So great story, and I could feel the feeling that you have about that. Don't forget to put it to your book, in your book, right?
Okay, yeah. See, so you have author lessons here also, Hilda. If you have any questions, it's great. That's awesome. But I always remember my mom used to say that everybody has a book inside of them, because everybody's life is actually could be a book.
Oh yeah.
Even you think, oh, my life's not that exciting. Yeah, everybody's is. People are interesting. Absolutely. Yeah. We're already coming up on our next break. Okay. But that's okay, because we have a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about you being an entrepreneur, more about your books. We can talk a little politics if you want, kind of touch the surface there with everything and stuff, because it's been a long time since you've had. And we hope that you will come back and talk again to us.
Her newer book.
The next book.
Her next book,
Writing with George and Graffiti. No.
9 books, right? You got about 9 books?
This is my 9th book.
9th book already. Yeah. Amazing.
Right. So we'll be right back with more of the Chips and Salsa Show here on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge.
I'm trying to trick you, huh? And our guest, Hilda Villaverde, author and business owner. So don't go away. We're going to walk on some more.
The Valley's home for podcasts, Talk Central Phoenix. Get the app on iTunes or Google Play.
Are you hungry? Need a soothing massage? Got legal problems? Looking for entertainment? Download the Thimble app and research your next purchase.
Before you leave the door, find what you're looking for. THYMBOL, great discounts and more.
Your wallet will thank you.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency. Who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
My name is Jana Jackson, and I want to be your next state representative. I'm running because I know we can do better in our district. We need fresh, strong, conservative leadership with energy to make an impact to ensure our district will prosper and our freedoms and values are protected in the decade ahead. As a teacher, adjunct professor, aerospace education specialist working throughout the United States for NASA, curriculum developer for the United States Navy and Marines, and working as a doctoral graduate student, interning for both the House and the Senate in Tallahassee, Florida. These experiences have taught me how important it is to become a listener with eyes, ears, and heart. I bring the mindset and responsibility as a representative to the voters here in our state. As a mother of 7 adult children and 2 grandchildren, I understand the challenges facing families today, and I will be your advocate. Every child should have access to the best education options, and parents should decide which is the best for their children, not bureaucracy. I fully believe in our founding fathers, the Bill of Rights, and the conservative principles that make this country and our state great. I will fight for pro-life principles, protect our Bill of Rights without waiver. Together, let's keep LD28 the best district in the state. I'm Janet Jackson, and I approve this message.
When you hear the Kevin Jackson Show,
You're hearing that they mislabeled many of the so-called deaths. 10,000 people have died. But you know what they're also telling you? Overestimated the number of deaths.
then you are home. The Valley's News Talk and Podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix.
It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show. Vámonos.
I love chips and salsa. Can I listen too?
You got it. Take it away. Yes, sir. Yeah, we have a lot of groups.
And I always like that. One thing about being in here now, we have this newly designed studio here on the Chips and Salsa Show at Central City Radio, but I don't hear the rejoiners as much because we don't have the headphones on. But that's one of my favorite ones. I love Chips and Salsa. Can I listen to? It's my little great nephew, who's 11 now. Oh my goodness gracious! But anyway, welcome back to the Chips and Salsa Show. Segment number 3. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge. And the rejoiners are, because this is on radio, so when he goes to the commercial, he does a commercial, and then the rejoiner comes right before we come on the air, and we have like how many segments? 4 segments, 3 or 4 segments, and there's a rejoiner for each.
George, how long have you been doing this show? We got 4 segments.
Yeah, about 4 segments. And there's a rejoiner and a different one for each segment going into our show. So we can't, I guess Alice was trying to say, we can't hear it here, but those listeners at home can listen to it.
Yeah, they're good ones, because I can hear it a little bit. Yeah. And by the way, this is just totally off the record, but I had my hearing tested and I went to Costco. They got a great program there, and if you're a Costco member, you get a free hearing test. And my hearing's good. I've got good hearing. You need to go get yours checked out. You need to go get yours. Anyway, welcome back to our show. We're halfway through, and it's rocking, so you know it's a good show.
It's going fast, yeah.
Hilda Villaverde is our guest. She is an author and a business owner, and it's Hispanic Heritage Month. And what we'd like to talk about in this segment is she is a successful business owner. And, you know, she grew up in a time where, first of all, a lot of women didn't even work outside the home.
Right.
But much yet to become a business owner. So kind of tell us your story. She's an author, so it's like I just want to toss the show to her because she could do this much better than I could.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us kind of your beginnings. First of all, why did you even choose to become a hairstylist?
So, growing up in Ajo, Arizona, there were 4 children. My father worked in the copper mine. We didn't have any money. My father wanted me to get married, get pregnant, and stay home.
That's how it was back then.
Right, back then. You know, so in 1968, graduated from high school, and as a young little girl, like 8, 9 years old, I was already cutting my Barbie doll's hair. You know, and styling her hair. And the bad thing about cutting Barbie's hair is that once you cut it off, it doesn't grow back again. But I knew I wanted to be a hairdresser. And that was the only thing that I could think of to do that didn't require a lot of education. My father was not going to pay for college. And again, Mexican girls, you don't go to college, you get married. So long story short, I applied to a beauty school in Phoenix, Arizona. My mother brought me up. I got a scholarship. If you want to know that story, the first book is Living on the Other Side of Fear, and I wrote that in 1998-99, Living on the Other Side of Fear, and that tells that story and how I managed. I came up to Phoenix. I was living by myself. I was hitchhiking.
When you could
hitchhike, I'm not recommending that. I'm not recommending. So I was 18 years old. I walked to beauty school every morning, and then in the afternoon after beauty school, I would quickly change into my clothes. I worked at Park Central, and you could wear a black dress or a navy blue dress. I had one of each, and I would get out on Central. I'd hitchhike to Park Central, work at Diamond's department store, and then I would hitchhike after work at 10:30 at night back to my apartment. get to bed, go to school the next day, and I did that for 9 months until I got my license. Anyway, I became a hairdresser, and
you never had any bad experiences?
Oh, I had horrible experiences.
Is that a whole other book?
That's another book.
It's all in the book. I started off having bad experiences. I had an alcoholic father, a lot of violence. Oh, I mean, all that.
It's a great story.
It's a story. It's my story. Anyway, so I want to just say this about that. Sometimes when you're working for someone, you see all the things that they're doing wrong, right? If I owned my own business, I would do that different, or I would do this or
Sure.
that. So for 25 years, I worked for other people, other salons. And that book is Blow Dry This. That book, I wrote that, Blow Dry This.
Good book.
And that's 2007. You'll find it on Amazon as well. And then what happened is I decided I wanted to be by myself. So that's when I went into a tiny little one-room studio, one-chair studio. And that was 25 years ago. And I incorporated because that's what you do. I didn't have any money. I mean, somehow, through the grace of God, con el favor de Dios, as we say, right, as Mexicans.
Favor de Dios.
Con el favor de Dios. Somehow I happened to just start this little beauty salon, and I had enough clients. So I want to say this about that. All of my books that I write are about encouraging women. And I would love to be able to touch the hearts of Latina women, because we are an amazing group. We are.
It's true.
We are big-hearted. We're hard workers. I would like for us to make that turn and go back to taking some responsibility and saying, yes, I can, instead of looking for some man.
Sí se puede.
Excuse me for saying that. But so many women, like my father wanted to. You find a man to take care of you. Well, I have to tell you, I found 3 men to take care of me. I divorced all 3 of them. I mean, I'm saying that. So, what I was...
She took care of herself.
And that's exactly it. I kept waiting for someone to save me, rescue me, give me the success, give me the money I wanted. And I finally woke up. You do that for yourself, and you can do that. And that's what the conservative Republican Party is all about.
Thank you.
It's self-responsibility, not looking for the government to take. I don't want to be married to the government. So this whole thing that happened with the pandemic in my tiny little beauty salon, yes, I did apply to get help, because everybody said, oh, you've got to apply.
You probably had to. Sure. You didn't know what was going to happen.
I felt like I didn't get anything from anyone. I am so glad I didn't. Because you know what? Here I am on my own. I've been able to get the business going again. It's a slow process. A lot of people are afraid to come in, but many people are coming in again, for their hair. And we're being very careful. We're wearing a mask, social distancing. Let me get back to women and inspiring women. I really believe that a man, even though he doesn't realize that, he likes a nice, strong, powerful woman. Absolutely. I don't think you want a woman hanging on you. So encourage your women. If you have a daughter, encourage her to be her own person. I didn't have that. I didn't have that with my father. Again, he wanted me to get married and do that. But I really would like to see us women, if you're looking, what it is that you're looking for in a man, and I love men. I mean, I love men, I enjoy
Well, you're married
dating.
3 times. No,
Married 3 times. I like men, But what it is that you're looking for a man, for him to give you, you have it inside of you already. Your story is already built inside of you. And how can you improve yourself? How can you become more of that? How can you be that self-sufficient woman? And so owning my own business is not just about money, although that's nice, because money gives you choices. There's nothing wrong with money. I like that. But really, what it has given me is a sense of myself, my strength, the courage that I've had. And my books are titled Living Brave. If you want to find my books, Living Brave, Finishing Strong, Living Brave, Women in Business, Living Brave in Love.
There's something for everyone.
There's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Mostly it's about, I think that you are the author of your own story. And you have already started it. You have the beginning of your story. Your story started before you even were born. Somebody was already talking about you. So right now you're in the middle of your story. How do you want your story to end? How do you want to, what I call, finish strong? I'm not talking about dying. I'm talking about how can you finish strong in your life and become those things that you are. Every single one of us has something special about us. Alice, you have that specialness about doing this work that you do. You put yourself out there. You are, you're determined. I've been your guest how many times now? Jorge, you as well. I mean, you guys have this passion for this because you have a strong belief in it. We all have to believe in something. And what do they say? If you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage the women and the men to encourage the women to really become all that they can be. Don't let yourself, die without singing your song. Well, I'm here to sing my song.
What's the old Neil Young song? It's better to fade out than rust.
See, that's good because a lot of women feel like they're a failure right off the bat without even trying. And by what you say is you're giving the woman a choice to make for themselves, that I'm a woman and I can do it. I can make of myself whatever I want to do it. And through your books, this is God sent. I would suggest buy at least one of the books, read it, and you'll probably get addicted to buy the other books. And I've already written down 3 that I'd like to at least delve into, because they're for women, but I think they're for men.
They benefit everybody. These books. The men love these books.
I think they're for men also because these, you're a living embodiment of transferring your thoughts to other people and to other women.
And it's so needed today. It's a tough world right now. And a lot of women, it's not, they're doing things on their own. So it really is encouraging. Okay, we're already ready for another break. I'm sorry.
Wow.
So I think Hilda needs to have her own show because she has a lot to offer.
Really?
My goodness.
She
She'd
does.
be great. Yeah, you could do a program with each of these books. Okay,
Each of the
so
books.
we'll be right back. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge.
Our guest is Hilda Villaverde, author, business owner. We'll be back for our last segment. So
Great
don't go
show.
away because we're going to walk on some more here in the Molcajete.
Yes.
We'll be back.
This is the Valley's News Talk and Podcast. Talk Central Phoenix, a Central City radio station.
Only in the forest can you see this. And this. And this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
I didn't know it could do that!
Because one trip to the forest can spark a world of difference.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, canoeing, fishing, or camping. Or create your own adventure with family and friends, and you might just see this. Your moment's out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
What are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
Well, what are you doing in my room?
I'm your sensitive adventure. Don't you remember me? Don't you know that we miss you?
Miss me? Who misses me?
You know, all your friends in the forest. The trees, the pond, that little fort that you made out of branches. We all miss you.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
The forest is not that far away. Have an adventure today. I'm sure your mom would take you.
You're right. I should get out. I want to have fun. Play in puddles, catch frogs, and climb trees. Hey, Mom!
Yeah, hon? Steven, what is that in your hand?
It's my sense of adventure, Mom. It's telling me we need to get out of the house and have some fun in nature today.
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
When you hear In the Booth with Jim Bunner.
Basically, it just seems as if no matter what Donald Trump does, he tries to tout a potential vaccine for this terrible disease. You just can't do anything right.
Then you are home. The Valley's News Talk and Podcast. Talk Central Phoenix.
Okay, so I'm really confused because, my dad's Latino and my mom is white, so does that mean I can only listen to, half of Chips and Salsa?
That's the smartest thing I've ever heard anyone say about anything.
We are back with the last segment of the Chips and Salsa Show. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Chipsters, we appreciate it. Every week we're here at 4 p.m. Alice Ladowit.
Don Jorge.
And please spread the word, because we have a little following, believe it or not. When we're out, people actually go, "Hey, you do the Chips and Salsa Show." We're like, George and I look, really? Somebody else is actually watching us or listening to us? So we appreciate you guys. And it's not just our family.
And from Texas, and from New Mexico, and from
over.
Virginia. I mean, people tune in from all over.
Like Jose Diaz, he was watching the promo. And so, hi, everybody. We really appreciate it. Spread the word. We have a fantastic guest today, and we know we've already invited her to come back. I'm trying to get her to do a podcast here, because it would be awesome for women for you to do that. We have Hilda Villaverde. She's my good friend, and she has a hairstyling business of her own in Scottsdale. She's a book writer. She is an inspirer of women. And we were talking to her about her having her own business, and she just got a great message for women and for men too, not just the gals, guys too. Yes, George. I'm sorry.
Do you do men's hair too?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
And doesn't George have great hair?
He's got beautiful, gorgeous silver hair.
I might have to go over there, because everybody's, believe it or not, and I don't even notice it because I've been living with it. People have been complimenting me on my hair, and it's like it catches me by surprise, because I haven't dyed it, because my wife said, just leave it white. She likes it that way. So, but I mean, I thought about it. I go, yeah, maybe I should just color it a dark color or something. No. But she likes it, so I'm satisfied with that. But now people are actually coming up. Truck drivers at the other job that I have, because I do security, and they're like, "Your hair looks nice," and they're like, "Okay, shut up." And they make a big deal about it, and then the girl's like, "Oh yeah, George." And now everywhere I go, and I'm gonna have to pick a stylist that takes care of my hair.
You better go to Hilda. Maybe Hilda can bring scissors next time.
No, I won't.
No. But I may do that.
Give you a little trim.
I may do that. Because I know she has other women with their doing it too. So if she's busy, I can go to one of the other
George,
ones.
a lot of guys would just like to have hair.
Right. That's the whole point here with him, is that he's got hair.
And I take it for granted, because
you do.
I until lately, and believe me, it's been. I mean, sometimes I'd like, is this for real? I mean, it's just gray hair, but it's not. I mean, even the one that cuts my hair now, she's like, you got beautiful hair. Well, okay, just cut it. And the gray.
George has beautiful hair.
And then the gray is all over the.
It's been established. So now we'll get back to our guest, who cuts hair, who styles hair, and also stylizes wonderful books for people's lives.
Yeah, thank you. I want to make a couple of comments. George just asked me a question if I felt that I had to close my salon down. When you have a small studio in Scottsdale, or any business in Scottsdale, it's high rent. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, we pay more because I'm on Shea and 70th Street. That's high rent area. And so everything is expensive. So I did not have to close my salon. I had wonderful clients who were so generous. Some of them said, let me pay you what I would pay
you. never had to shut down during this week?
No, we did. We shut down for 5 weeks. When the governor shut us down.
Yeah, that's true. You
right. Was it April 4th we closed? And then we opened May 8th. But during that time, the clients, I have to tell you, this was so amazing. I actually had clients come to my house, to my front door, and hand me a check for what they would have paid that week to have their hair done.
You are good, woman.
Well, and another couple, husband and wife, who are retired they worked at the Pentagon, and they're both husband and wife. They were there at 9/11 working at the Pentagon when the plane went in. They are amazing people. They wrote me a check for both of them for the rest of the year, and that kept my doors open. So I've had maybe about a dozen of those clients who
now see, that's an American spirit right there. That is so wonderful. I'm so glad you shared that, especially the 9/11.
And that tells you that their clientele trusts in them, believes in them, loves the service, and would do anything to keep them open. That's a sign of a good hairstylist or a good bartender
business
or
owner.
Business owner.
And we felt that love. I mean, we felt that love. We knew that we could pay the rent and we could the insurances, the product, everything, because even though we were closed, we still had bills. I still had bills to pay.
That doesn't stop, right?
Anyway, so there are a lot of really, really good people out there. we are so caught up right now in this pandemic, in this fear, what I call that consciousness of hatred, and that what I'd like to do again is turn us over to all the good things that are going on out there. There's so many people that are doing great things right now, that are keeping, people who are in prayer groups, people who are going out and feeding people, meeting with people who are locked up, who are locked down in their places. Right. How many of those? And so I'm very fortunate that my clients volunteer their time. It's just amazing. I really think that if we could all consciously, collectively start changing the consciousness of what's good out there. Good news, good people, brave stories. That's my next book.
That's your next book?
My next book, I think.
I think that's awesome.
You like it? Good news.
Great people. I mean, just
good
just
people.
Your story about your customer coming and giving you a check for the rest of the year. Because a lot of it, too, people with money are bad.
Oh.
No. I mean, my goodness, they didn't have to do that.
When I was growing up in Ajo, Arizona, my father couldn't read or write. He worked in the copper mine as a laborer. And when he went to vote, they would say to him, the union stewards would say to him, you have to vote Democrat. You have to vote Democrat. Don't vote anything but Democrat. You want a job working in this copper mine, you have to vote Democrat. We grew up hearing that, and what I grew up hearing is that Republicans hate Mexicans and they hate American Indians. My father's full-blooded Indio from Mexico. He's Yaqui Indian from Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So I'm Indian and I'm Mexican. My mother's from Mexico. And so when I came to work in Phoenix, I was so afraid of those Republicans, because I was afraid that they were going to hurt me.
So that was even braver of you to be in the city with that fear already ingrained in you.
And I was 18 years old. I didn't know it. They are wonderful people. They're good. They're kind. They're generous. Wealthy people. God bless these wealthy people. Because honestly, for me, I want those. Those are the women that wrote me the check for $2,200 for the rest of the year.
Wow.
Right? I mean, that's an amazing way to even look at that. Now, as far as trust, George, is what you said, whatever it is that you do, if you're a professional, if you keep your word, if you show up, and if you say you're going to do something, you do it, I think that builds trust. And I think after 50 years of being a hairdresser, I have one client who's been with me for 48 years. Wow. Isn't that amazing?
48 years.
48 years I've been a hairdresser. So I think that the whole piece about trust is about doing what you say you're going to do. And I love that about President Trump. I love that about him. He's working on it little by little and against all forces.
Yes.
Because they are after him. I mean, and I can, we all know that already about it. So I trust him. I trust that he's going to do the right thing, and I know he's going to follow through for us. And yay, go small businesses, and he loves small businesses.
He really does.
He does.
And he really supports
it. I believe that because I believe he's a man of God. I believe his religion is true, not just fake. And it showed today there must have been an angel of peace over the White House. And it's gonna even get bigger because other countries are getting involved that haven't even announced it yet. But I have a feeling that this is bigger than what we could ever imagine. 3 countries signed that today, that accord.
It was an amazing historical event. You're right.
There's people, even Iran, which you would think would never come on board, there are even rumblings about that they may even come on board later on when all these other countries are on board already. And even the Palestinians. This is something big, and it's bigger than we could ever imagine. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a peace. The angel of peace was over the White House today. That I have to say.
Okay, we've got 1 minute. It's been so awesome to have you on, Hilda. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, woman.
Well, I love that segue. Think big. Think big, think big. We are a microcosm of the macrocosm. And what it is that you want for the world, you have to become it yourself. There's a wonderful saying about if you want peace, let go of rage. If you want peace, let go of anger. If you want peace, let go of your fear, that you can't. So I'm going to just say this about that. Yes, the angels are with us. And the angels, you have to accept that angel in yourself. So anyway, be everything you can be. Thank you
Nicely
for having
done.
me on.
Thank you, Hilda, so much for coming on. Hilda Villaverde, look for her books. You want to give your shop name?
Pluma Designs. At Pluma Designs in Scottsdale, Arizona. Pluma. And if you want to find me, Hilda Villaverde on Amazon.com.
Alice Lara and George here. Join us again next Tuesday at Chips and Salsa Show.
Thank you.
On Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guac on.
A huge rainmaker. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. That's the concern in the Gulf as Hurricane Sally, which is a Category 1 approaches. It's expected to make landfall late tonight or